Hi everybody, and welcome back to Minimalist Terrain. Now, we normally try and make things relatively small and simple and cheap and things like that. And today we are going to do something a little bit different. Hopefully it should be quite a quick video, so it's going to be minimalist in that sense. Cost, yes. However, in terms of sheer size, I would say this is more on the maxi size. I would say quite possibly this is one of the largest builds that you'd ever undertake in your gaming life. It's a simple build. It's a very quick one to do. However, it is one of the most useful things that I have ever crafted. Now, can you remember way back at the start, when you first started gaming and you maybe had a few miniatures and your battlefield or your adventure area was done on the kitchen table, and you maybe had a few books or hills and a cloth covering if you were really lucky, and or maybe some small pieces of terrain that were included in the box set, and what you yearned for was your own gaming table. Well, quite a few years back now, I made myself one, and it was simply two very large pieces of foam card, I believe it was, and they were taped together, and they could be laid out on any available surface, and it gave a far larger battlefield, and then it would fold up and get put in the garage or the game room or under the bed, ready to be pulled out for the next time. And it was so useful it was untrue. Things have advanced a little bit now. The foam card, while it was brilliant, did start getting a little bit ratty around the edges by the time we'd finished it, and I eventually donated it to another wargaming friend of mine. The design has changed ever so slightly, and I'm going to show you how to make your own portable gaming table. So, very simple set of tools and materials for this one. The tools: pair of scissors and or a craft knife. Glue and tape. Now this is a hair clip. You can use something like a large bulldog clip instead of this. However, this has got quite a gentle spring on it, which is why I've gone for this. You can use a bulldog clip. Just make sure that it's not too strong. A little bit of foam, and the big boys, some reclaimed core flute. Now I've got 4 sheets here. They are very, very large, so it's going to be an extremely large playing area that I'm creating. Maybe in hindsight I should have used smaller pieces. However, this was what I was able to get hold of. It has been pre-used. It's reclaimed material, so it was extremely, extremely cheap. It has been used before for signage, so if you get in touch with real estate agents or things like that, and anything that they're throwing out, you may be able to take it off their hands for free. We like free. Because it is an old sign, it does have a few nail holes in where it was pinned up to the wall, and eventually you'll probably need to cover those over with something. Otherwise it is some nice big pieces. I'll get on with things. So first things first, I'm going to prepare the clip. Now it's got these pointy bits on, so I want to cover those over so that they're eventually not leaving indentations for what I'm going to use it for. And for that I've got some old scrap foam. Now we want, essentially what we're going to do is we're going to cover the prongs in this foam. I'll be able to get 2 sets out of that. So quick cut down there. Now I'll do it like that. Down to size. In fact, it's still a bit too big. There. And there. Just get your clip. It should force relatively easily into the foam like that. Do both sides. Okay, then you see you've got something grippy and it's not going to damage anything that you clip it onto. Bit of super glue. Dab along the prongs just to hold it in place. And that is that part done and can be put to one side to dry. Now these are big pieces of core flute, so realistically this is going to be a two-person job. I do have my able assistant waiting in the wings, but the first part is to lay the boards out so that all the joins are going to be nice and square and true. So what I've done is I have placed two boards side by side. Now the white side, the good side on the bottom boards is facing upwards, and then I have laid the final two boards, making four altogether, face down, so the whites are sandwiched, so that when it folds out we're going to have a good unadulterated playing surface. Really important, make sure that the boards butt together nice and closely and that you have them squared off at the bottom just here. In fact, that looks as if it's out ever so slightly, and that the fronts are parallel as well. Okay, do you want to grab some tape? And the first one we're going to do is a straight piece of tape down here. If you can go around the back please. Straight piece of tape down the centre, joining these two top halves together, making sure that the board is held down and in place. That's why I said it was a two-person job. Scissors please. Then snip that tape off. Next two joins, we're going to fold a piece of tape from the top right the way, catching both pieces of core flute and joining them together, basically folding it around the bend. Yes, we could run one piece of tape all the way through, but we're not going to. We're going to start from the centre and work outwards. There is a method to this, because if we didn't do it like this, we would then have to start snipping tape later on. Just make sure it's nice and tight as you fold it over. Next thing, turn your piece around and then fold it out. Just make sure it's central on the table, so we've got, alright, and then make sure that these pieces have the tape sandwiched in between them, like so. While I hold them, could you tape this piece please? And then turn the board around and do the same with the other side. One final piece of tape to go. What we're going to do is we're going to fold it so that the picture side is now close together with the white side on both outers, and we're going to put a reinforcing piece of tape on this one. This is the join that originally had one flat piece of tape across it, and this side is not taped at all. Just make sure that your assistant is ensuring that the two pieces along this long centre line are being held in place so that it doesn't wander on this final reinforcing joint. So, one jointed stack. Just remember, when you're storing it, clip goes on there, keeps everything together. It can slide under the bed, but when it is in use, let's fold it out. And use your clip just to hold that section of the board together. So there you have it, one foldable, large size, portable gaming table, complete with storage clip. Now obviously this was very much on the massive side for the table that I've got. Realistically, I'm going to cut it down a little bit the size to make it more practical and so that there's not so much of an overhang. And you should do exactly the same with either your foam card or your core flute, whichever material it is that you decide to use to make your gaming table. The only thing that needs to be done to this now is to put a coat of paint on both sides. Green for a battleground, grey if you want an urban one, yellow for sand, blue if you enjoy sea battles, whatever you want, because at the end of the day it is double-sided. You can have more than one battle on there. One thing that would probably be very handy for an awful lot of you that play Dungeons and Dragons, on that good side, the inside, what was white on this one, if you have the time, go back to the intro video and see how I did the dungeon tiles out of embossed card. If you have the patience, cover the whole area. That will also hide the joins on the table where it all folds together, and all you've got to do is basically block out the sections that the characters haven't been to yet, and you've got a full dungeon there. Massive. Hope that's been of some use. It's a little bit of a quirky build, and it is certainly going to be the largest scale or size of build that you'll see me doing, but it's so useful. Everyone wants their own gaming table. There you are. That's how I started out doing it. Do the social media thing for me, please. Hit like and subscribe. Share with any other crafting or gaming friends that you have. The more the merrier. That's why I do these videos, to pass on hints and tips and things like that. And otherwise, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.